What's up? We are back for another microphone review, courtesy of our friends from Fifine Technology. Today we are taking a look at the Tank1 XLR dynamic microphone. Now it's called a tank for a reason. Weighing at 1.2 kilograms, it is a chunky monkey. As usual, the design build quality seems very sturdy. All machined metal. It is a cardioid polar pattern microphone. The capsule is on the front of the microphone. XLR connection in the back. There is no USB connection, so you do require an audio interface to be able to make this work. A couple of neat features on the back. There is a mid-range boost and a low cut. Now it is touted primarily as a podcasting microphone, so that's how I'm going to review it. We're going to throw it into Logic. What I've done is just throw on a compressor, and then I have a gate, and that's just going to handle the background noise. Let me take both of these off. So now you can hear a little bit of the background noise, and you'll hear that my voice is a little bit down lower in the mix. Let's throw the compression back on. Now you can hear just a little bit of that kind of hiss of the background noise. And then we throw the gate back on there just to take care of that. Now, we got a couple of switches on the back. The first is a low cut. So let me do that right now. Should sound a little bit less kind of boomy. Get rid of that low end kind of rumble. And then the second switch is a mid boost. Now, you could do this within a DAW if you prefer to work like that. It's nice to have that on a microphone. And typically for voiceover type recordings for podcasts, you can be making these two adjustments anyway. You're going to roll out some lows, boost a little bit of that mid-range, maybe some highs, and it just crisps everything up. Now, what I'm curious about is how the onboard EQ switches match up with making the same EQ adjustments within Logic. What I've done is taken the settings that they've provided on their website and recreated the EQ curve. So they've rolled off around 150 hertz, and they have boosts at 1.3, 3K, and 6K. So you're listening to just a straight up Logic sound now. So let's turn this off, and then let's turn these switches back on. So now you have the switches activated on the microphone. To me, it sounds bigger and fuller, but you still have some clarity. Let's go back to the Logic. You have a little bit more kind of maybe high-end information, but you feel like you've lost a little bit of low. Let's go back again. And now we have the switches activated on the microphone itself. To me, this sounds like a better sound, which is kind of interesting. So by my estimation, these switches work pretty well. Keep in mind, once you've rolled off those lows at the source, you're not going to be able to get those back. So depending on your workflow, depending on your voice, depending on who you're recording, maybe you want to have that information and you want to EQ it out afterwards. So final thoughts. What do I think? The mid boost and the low cut works pretty darn well. Really good build quality. Noise cancellation does a pretty good job of only picking up what's in front. As I'm using it and as I'm testing and listening back to it, I am hearing quite a bit of plosives. So those are like those pop sounds. Now I believe there is a built-in pop filter in the capsule. It's doing a pretty good job, but again, there are a few little plosives in there. Retail price, $129.99 US. So for me, I'd give this 4 out of 5 stars. I'd like to see the price get below 100, so around $99.99. I think that's a good deal. That's going to make it a little bit more competitive with other dynamic microphones in that range. Maybe just some improvements in a screen filter just to get rid of some of those plosives. In terms of the actual sound of the microphone, highly usable. I think it's going to sound really good for podcasts. That's it for me, my friends. Catch you in the next one.